Hello, my crafty friends. I am back with let's call it a sheetload of cards rewind. So I have talked a bit about using up this patterned paper. It is called Holiday Bash by Recollections. I've had it for about 4 years, maybe 5, and I really am making an effort to put a dent in this paper pad. And why I got it out initially was I'm filming this in early October and waiting for my preview of the sheet load for November. And I thought, okay, I'm going to get it out and get it ready so that I can have those cards done. I am on the collaboration team for the sheet load of cards, and the collaboration team of course gets the preview of the following month's sheet load early, so we have time to create our cards and do our videos so that we can all upload them together on the 2nd of the month. So that's why I had the pad out, and I thought, you know what, I'm a huge fan of the sheet load of cards, and it's a great way to use up patterned paper and get a whole batch of cards done. I decided to flip through some of my favorite sheet loads, and this one is from the February 2020 sheet load of cards. And it's so quick and easy. It uses 2 12 by 12 pattern papers, and the yield is 6 cards, and then of course you add your cardstock, etc. But it's a sketch and cutting guide, and I will put a link on my blog to how you can download your own sheet load of cards. They are free to subscribers of the Call Me Crafty Al YouTube channel. So that is where the sketch and the cutting guide came from. So I used the 2 sheets of pattern paper. I used a snowflake print and then this candy print. And you can see there's opposites here where I have 3 cards with the snowflake pattern on the bottom and the candy on the top. And then the opposite on the second set of 3 where the candy's on the bottom and the snowflakes are on the top. So 6 cards are finished, and then when you're done you will have some scraps of the pattern paper left over. Well, I didn't need more scraps of this particular pattern paper, so I used those scraps to make an additional 2 cards. So now I have 8 Christmas cards done. These ones are actually on a blue card base, whereas these ones are on a white. So you do have 2 pieces of pattern paper this size. I simply matted them. And then there's 2 kind of long strips. So I used them on these cards and layered them however I wanted to, and then I put the remaining leftovers into recycling. So those are done, and now I have an additional 8 cards that I can send out for the holidays. I'm actually okay for my cards this year. I'm probably not going to need any more. So these will go into my stash for next year, but I think I'm going to give one to our granddaughter, and I'll show you that one in just a minute. The sentiments that I used are from a very old Hero Arts stamp set. They're red rubber stamps, and I had them stored in a CD case, and then when I took them out, I knocked them off my stamping table and broke the CD case. So I'm going to put them on a piece of acetate and then put them in a clear plastic storage envelope and just continue to store them with my other sets. But very old set, like probably 10 years old. So it was fun to get them out. I like the kind of whimsical look with the pattern papers. And then I also, on these 3, I don't know, there was something about the candy, just with the sentiment, I felt like it needed a little something something. So that's where I pulled out the Pigment Craft Co. Candy Striper. I got these in either June or July, and they're just so much fun. And I like that you can use them for so many different sizes of cards or embellishments. And I'm a huge fan of dies that kind of go the distance, and you can use them for multiple occasions and for many years to come. So this one certainly fits the bill. So that's the candy die that I used there. Let's stick that up there. And I just added like partial ones here and here. The snowflakes are from Karen Burniston's Snowman pop-up. A number of her Christmas and holiday die sets have got different snowflake dies. So I'm always flipping through to see what of the decorator dies I can use from different sets. Because the sentiment was going to be kind of the feature of the cards, I wanted to use mirrored cardstock just to give it some pizzazz. So I was happy enough with that, and the insides are all done the same. I used the same stamp on all of the cards. I used my Misty for the stamping, and this one has got like a blue matte background. This one's got the pink. I was just using up some of the smaller pieces of pattern paper, and the blue actually came from the top of a border strip that I was able to use on different cards. So I am getting there. I'm getting them used up. Those little tiny snowflakes that I added on some of the sentiments here, they are couple of years old. They're from Stampin' Up. I don't think they carry them anymore, but there's some in a blue tone and some with a pink tone. So I get a lot of use out of those, and so I added a couple of them there, just kind of where I thought they might need them on the sentiment. And then if you follow me, you know I like to make pop-up cards, and so I thought if I'm going to use one for my granddaughter, I want it to be a pop-up. Oh, and you will notice that the sentiment strips are in different places. I didn't necessarily follow the sketch for where I was placing the sentiment. It all depended on the snowman panel, where the snowman fit. Like for this one, it didn't make sense to cover the face of this one and then just have a whole bunch of partial snowmen. I liked that I have a whole snowman here and you have a good view of that one. And the same with here. I had to cover up one, so I had to decide where I was going to cover. So you can just play with placement. The sheet loads are jumping off points, and you can always make the sketch work for you. So here is my pop-up card, and I used Karen Burniston's Rockin rectangle. This is one of my favorites, and I haven't used it in so long. Was it ever fun to get it out and play with it again? So this piece here is actually a cut apart from the paper pad. There was a 12 by 12 sheet of all different sizes of cut aparts, and of course there's 2 sheets of them, so there's a whole bunch. And I liked that the snowman matched, so I decided to use that on the Rockin rectangle. This is part of a border sticker that I used on an easel card, and there was a little bit left over, so I added that to the center. I added some gold glitter dots, and because there was gold foiling on the journal card, I used an old peel-off from my stash. This was from Elizabeth Craft Designs, as are the snowflake peel-offs. I don't think they're carrying them anymore, but I have them, so I'm going to use them. Room for us to write a personal note to our granddaughter, and this card will be going to her this year, and if I don't end up needing them, the others will go in my stash. But I thought these ones might be kind of cute if I'm giving chocolates to anyone, which we do tend to do. So another sheet load of cards. I completely used up 2 of the 12 by 12 sheets in the package. I was able to use up a bunch of scraps for the inside and for my Rockin rectangle here. Oh, and I'll show you that die set. It comes with all of these layers, but you can see you can animate other things as well. Karen Burniston has assembly videos for all of her dies. I will put a link to the Rockin rectangle in the description box below if you're curious how they go together. I just prefer to show you all kinds of ideas using the dies rather than do full-on tutorials of them. The mechanism I store in the back of the envelope, and then I leave myself a little note so I remember how to fold it the next time and not have to watch the full assembly video just to remember how to do my folding. So lots of height and dimension, and yet this card will fold flat if I was going to mail it, and it would go for a single stamp. If you enjoyed my video today, please hit that like button. I'd love you to subscribe to see more, and that's it for me today.